Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be sharing our 2020 RV living costs. If you're researching the RV lifestyle, we hope that this video is going to help shed some light on some typical RVing expenses. Without further ado, let's roll that intro so we can get into the numbers. Alright, so I'm going to start this off by saying that RV expenses are variable. They are going to differ from person to person, depending on how you live this lifestyle, how often you move, what type of campgrounds you want to stay in, or maybe you want to do a lot of boondocking. You can get these expenses down really, really low, or you can live in luxury and get these expenses really, really high. We feel that we land somewhere in the middle. We have seen other YouTubers post their expense videos as low as $1,000 a month, and then others are a few $1,000s a month. So we don't live this lifestyle to save money particularly. That's not why we did it. We're from Los Angeles, so our cost of living was already pretty high. So we have saved money just by default from where we were from, but we live this lifestyle to have experiences on the road and just sightsee and, if you follow our vlogs, you know why we travel. So with that said, money is kind of personal. If you're talking to us face to face, we're really open about money. We don't mind sharing those numbers with friends and family. However, the few times we have talked about money on our YouTube channel, we get a lot of critiques. So we were hesitant to make this video, but with so many new RVers on the road, we are really hoping that this will just help people start to gauge as to where they might land with certain numbers. So if your expenses are lower than ours, congratulations, that's awesome. If they're higher than ours, that's awesome as well. We're really just trying to shed some light on this situation. So, with that said, I think we're ready to dive into the numbers now that we've gotten that little disclaimer out of the way. And our highest expense for 2020 was actually groceries. And when we started going through these numbers, that blew me away for some reason. So we spent $6,569.66 for the year on groceries, which works out to be $547.47 per month. And I actually Googled what is the average household expense on groceries because that seemed really high. And it's actually $550 a month for a household of 2 people. So we are technically right on track. Yeah. I think a reason for the increase in that this year was that we were eating a lot more at home. We weren't really going out to restaurants, obviously with COVID and everything like that. So we ate at home a lot. And we got the smoker, so we were spending a little more money on nicer meals and meats and stuff like that.
Yeah, overall, I don't think I'm unhappy with that dollar amount. I think it's pretty much what I expected it to be. Actually, even a little bit lower than I think we budget for every month. So,
yeah, not bad.
Not bad.
All right. You want to talk about our next expense?
Is fuel. So as you know, fuel is one of those expenses that you expect to increase when you hit the road and start driving around full time. And so for us, our annual fuel costs were $5,616.82. So that breaks down to a monthly average of $468.07. The thing about fuel is it is highly variable based on the time of the year, where you are in the country, and how often you move. Mm-hmm. So we actually slowed down this year and move a little bit less than we're normally moving, but that was also offset with making some really long cross-country drives multiple times. We went from LA to Florida to LA to Baja, Mexico, up to Michigan, and all around.
Yes.
So it's definitely, that's about average. When we first hit the road and we had moved weekly, I estimated about $100 per week because we'd fill up our tank once a week right before we moved. So it's right around there.
A little over 400. Yeah, what we estimated before we hit the road, we're pretty close to. And I do want to clarify that we actually were able to save some money. And when we say fuel, we're talking about diesel because we have a diesel truck. So we have a TSD card that we got in March of 2020, and then we started using that immediately. So we were able to get some savings on our way back from Florida to LA, and we saved a total of $302.61 since having that TSD card this year. Yeah. We do recommend the TSD fuel card if you have diesel. It doesn't work for gas.
Right, and we will have a link down below to our post that explains everything that TSD is and does. And so I would say $300 savings for not doing anything special other than using their card. Absolutely worth it.
Yeah, definitely. So this next one is extremely variable. It is dining out and experiences. So we spent a total of $3,735.40, which works out to a monthly average $311.28. And when you look at we have like a graph kind of that shows these expenses. It spikes in June, it spikes in August, and then it spikes when we're home, spending money on gifts or anything like that. So June is your birthday.
Yeah.
August is my birthday month. So you could tell that's when we started to spend money on each other or on ourselves. You really have 100% control over this category, and for us, this is what we budgeted before we hit the road. We knew that we wanted to rent UTVs, go on hot air balloon rides, buy water rafts for his birthday this year to go, rafting down the river. So this, again, is a category that we want to spend money in and that we budget to spend money in, because that is why we are on the road.
And we've actually spent less money this year than normal because of COVID. We weren't going out and doing as many experiences, and we weren't dining out as much. Our first year on the road, and probably your first year on the road, that is the budget that gets quickly out of control.
Yes, this is the category to watch, people.
Yeah, so if you are looking at ways to save money and still go out and dine out and have experiences, check out happy hour specials, just getting your dinner a little bit earlier, and Groupon and a couple other places like that have great deals on experiences. All right, and the next is something that increased for us when we hit the road, but I don't think I would have it any other way, and that is our internet and phone bills. For us, our annual internet and phone cost was $3,391.53. And so that's a monthly average of $282.63. So that includes, we have 2 cell phones. We have a AT&T hotspot. We have a Verizon hotspot. We have a Visible cell phone plan, and we have a T-Mobile cell phone plan. So
we're covered.
So if you're a collector of cell phone plans like I am, that is, I think it's still a pretty decent deal for the sheer amount of plans that we have. And since we work from the road full time, and even previous to this year, the reason I even collected so many was I had a full-time job and I always needed to be online. And so I wanted to have backups on backups.
So our next item, which was definitely higher for us this year than previous years, is Carmen. So we spent a total of $3,164.35 on her, which averages out to $263.70. And if you didn't know, Carmen is our dog. So this last year in October, we had some larger bills come through for her because of a scare that we had with her not being able to get up. So we had a lot of x-rays done. We had a lot of tests done. Turns out it was just arthritis, so she's doing fantastic if you're wondering. But we do have pet health insurance through Healthy Paws, which did help us with some of these expenses. I think it covered, I didn't write it down, but I think it was between $700 or $800. It covered that. So these expenses would have even been higher without Healthy Paws, because I did subtract them from that total. But this also includes her annual vaccines, heartworm, flea and tick medication, her food, and her toys. So just in case you were wondering, having a pet is expensive, especially if you love to spoil them like we do. So this cost was definitely higher for us. I think we normally are closer to spending $70 to $100 on her a month. So $263 is a lot for her, but that again is just those larger vet bills that came through.
And next up is truck and RV maintenance. This includes anything that we get to maintain our truck and RV. So things like caulking and lap sealant for the RV, or any kind of knickknacks that we need to repair. Maybe some pin nails and glue for...
Well, we throw our upgrades in this category as well. Any upgrades that we do, or stuff like that.
Any little things we want to upgrade with. And then overall truck maintenance, I try to do as much of it as I can myself, but we also take the truck in annually to get things done that I don't want to do. Items that we replace on the truck include things like fluid changes, like front differential, rear differential, oil, transmission, power steering. And I always try to keep our maintenance up to date, and for any items that I didn't know when the last time they were changed, I've been changing 1 or 2 of them a year.
And I would say the majority of this category is on the truck, not necessarily the RV. Next up is RV insurance. Now, I find this number to be high. We spend annually $3,134, which averages out to $261.17 a month. I think why this is so high, from my research and talking to different agents, is that we are requiring full-timers insurance. There is an additional thing that you can pay for when you get insurance on your RV that covers full-timers. And we also have the special type that if we got into an accident or had a total loss on our RV, they would give us a check for what we paid for the RV, not the depreciation value. So I know those two like special clauses that we get added on is what increases our insurance. That leads right into truck insurance, which we spend $1,767.67 on, which works out to $147.31 a month. So I have gotten quotes on the RV and our truck to try and get them lower, but again, with those special clauses we want on there, we're not finding anything cheaper. But if you're domiciled in Texas and you have full-timers insurance and you're finding something cheaper, please let us know in the comments. This is a category I would love to save money on.
And we use Farmers and the Foremost insurance for our RV. So Foremost is a Farmers brand. So
yes. Yeah. All right, what is up next?
Laundry. So we chose not to have a washer and dryer in our RV because of the weight. And so for the last year, we spent $282.50 on laundry. So based on our usage, it would take 4 years of using a onboard washer and dryer to make up the cost.
Which will be at 4 years in this year, 2021.
Yeah.
But
still, not having that extra weight probably saves us in gas mileage, and we like to get all of our laundry done at once because we hate doing it.
Yes, so we actually prefer doing our laundry in laundromats or at the campground. But if you don't like laundry facilities, then this is a cost you can think about of when will it be worth it to put laundry in your rig and not have to spend it on other sources. All right. So with that said, that leads us into propane. So we have 2 propane tanks that we fill regularly. We use this for our heater and our fridge. We have an RV refrigerator when we're boondocking. And then obviously, even if we're on full hookups, we will still, if it's very cold, use the propane heater to heat the rig. So we have spent $590.52, which averages out to $49.21 per month. And again, when you look at the graph for this one, it's the winter months that we're spending money, and then there's pretty much no expenses on this category through the summer months.
Yeah, we use our fridge just sips on propane,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we could probably leave just our 2 30-pound tanks in there all summer and not refill them once.
Right. All right. So then, speaking of boondocking costs, we do consider propane to be a boondocking cost, which we're going to get into a little bit later. So then moving on to generator gas. Now this is, again, just money we spend on gas for the generator, and so that works out to be $167.38, which averages $13.95 a month. And so this, again, is just gas we use for our generator, which we only use when we're boondocking. So this is what we consider a boondocking expense as well. So that leads us right into campground fees. Now, when we say campground fees, these are campgrounds excluding Thousand Trails. So we do have a Thousand Trails membership, which we're going to go over, but the campground fees are just state parks.
Private campgrounds.
Yeah, they're mostly private campgrounds. So anything we just pay in addition, if that makes sense. And that cost is $1,935.45, which averages out to a monthly cost of $161.29. So not bad.
Yeah, I feel like most of that is from one RV park as well, which we spent a month at a nicer RV park right outside Zion.
Yes, when the pandemic hit, we said we have money in this category, and we said we're spending it because we have to leave this Thousand Trails park, which then goes into our Thousand Trails cost. So our annual membership renewal fee this year was $894.45, which works out monthly to $74.54. Now this includes our Thousand Trails renewal as well as our Trails Collection renewal.
If you are interested in Thousand Trails, the cost, the different membership options, all of that, we'll have the link down below because it is a in-depth topic.
Yes.
We find it very worthwhile, as you'll see.
Yes. So we calculated the initial purchase cost of Thousand Trails for us our first year on the road. So our nightly rate worked out to be a lot higher through Thousand Trails because of that initial buy-in, which we bought used. So this is just our annual renewal fee. And then I'll say this one quickly and then I'll go into the nightly rates. We also have an RPI membership that is $120 a year, which works out to $10 a month. And we have not used that program once this year. So we actually think when it comes time to renew for this year, we're not going to renew it.
Yeah, and when we first hit the road, we did use it a decent amount because anytime there wasn't a Thousand Trails, we'd be looking for RPI campgrounds. But now that we have the full Battleborn inverter system, we just go boondocking instead. So
yes,
we've found that it isn't something that we're using.
Yeah. So now we're going to go into our nightly rate really quick, just a little side detour before getting into the last of our expenses here. But we spent 118 nights boondocking in 2020. So if you take our propane cost and our generator gas cost and you divide that by 118, you get an average nightly rate of $6.42. So then we spent 137 days in Thousand Trails parks in 2020. And if you take our annual renewal fee of $894 and divide that by our nights, you get a nightly rate of $6.53, a couple cents more than boondocking.
Yeah, and we love them both.
Yes. And then our other paid sites, like state parks and private campgrounds, that was 110 nights this year, and that works out to be $17.60 per night. So,
which is still a great rate.
It is, but when we we get really into getting that less than $10 a night with our 1,000 trails and our boondocking, so we're pretty proud of ourselves for the first two categories there.
So tolls, this is a new one for us being on the road, because there's not many toll roads that we would take in Southern California. I think there was one that I remember, but I don't think I ever paid for the tolls. So we always forget to budget for this, and then but we do have a new transponder that we got in Florida that works on SunPass and Easy Pass, and so we used it as we were in driving around Indiana this year, which was really, really nice to have.
Yes.
And so we spent this year on tolls $159.70, which is about $13.31 a month. And that's not bad, because I really like the transponder because we don't have to carry cash or any of that anymore.
Yes, actually that reminds me of a quick tip. If you're going full-time and you're from the West Coast like us and you're not familiar with tolls, definitely add this into your budget and have cash in your car or RV or truck, whatever. We have 2 items left we want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Next up is CoachNet, which we use as our roadside assistant program. We've had it since we hit the road, and it's $149 a year, or $12.42 a month. We didn't use it this year, although we had 2 cases where we could have, but instead I decided to change the tires myself. But overall, I still like the security of having a roadside assistance that is specialized in towing RVs, just in case anything ever happens to the truck. We did use it when our truck fan belt broke in Tampa, or in Miami a couple years ago. And they were able to get our big truck to a dealership and get it fixed because it was not going anywhere. So overall, I think, yeah, it's roadside assistant. It's one of those kind of must-haves, especially when you're on the road.
Yes. And then our last item that we're going to discuss with you is health insurance. And I threw this one on here last because I actually forgot about it. But it's an important thing, obviously, and a lot of people ask us about this. So we spend $4,471.92 for the year, which works out to $372.66 a month. Now, this plan does cover both of us, and we have a nationwide PPO plan through US Health Group. Our agent's name is Portia, and she is awesome. She helped guide us through this process because we were really dreading when we hit the road, getting rid of our insurance through our companies and then having to insure ourselves. So she walked us through the whole process, the application process, then had a presentation with the different plans, different expenses, what would be covered, what wouldn't be covered. She's just extremely knowledgeable. Highly recommend her. And those are our expenses. So you may have noticed we did not include our truck payment or our RV payment. If you want to calculate stuff like that for yourself, there are plenty of online calculators out there where you can put in the price of the truck you're looking at, your loan terms, what the current interest rates are, and you can find a really accurate payment plan out there, which is why we didn't feel the need to share our personal payments on that one. So without those 2 payments included, our total for everything else is $39,203.48, which works out to an average monthly RV living cost of $3,266.96. And in our opinion, that is not bad. That is what we kind of budgeted for when we were hitting the road, and we're hitting it on the mark. So again, again, you will find people out there who have a much lower number than this, and you will find people out there who have a much higher number than this. Hopefully this video will shine some light on certain RVing expenses that you can start thinking about, and just start thinking about what membership programs you want to invest in, how much boondocking you want to do, how much traveling you're going to be doing, and things like that.
And overall, just remember that things like groceries and dining out and your internet/phone spend is very personal to your lifestyle, so you can usually estimate based on what you're spending before you're hitting the road to kind of estimate those categories. We recommend you start tracking and budgeting your expenses now before you hit the road, so you can kind of get an estimate of how much you spend. And we recommend a program called YNAB, or You Need a Budget. We've been using it for about 5 or 6 years now, and I really like the budgeting concept that they have, where you budget the money you have and not money you don't, if that makes sense.
Yes, keeps you from going into debt.
Exactly, and helps you get out of it if you're in debt. So we'll have a link for that down below. But that's it for our 2020 RVing expenses. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to join the Getaway Gang. We'll see you next time.
Bye guys. Hey guys, in this video... Can you stop licking your mouth? Hey guys, in this video, we're gonna... Does the camera look crooked? It looks crooked, huh?
Well, it looks like the camera itself is crooked, which makes sense why you had me moving the table crooked.
Hey guys, in this video, we're gonna be...
Start over.
We hope that this video will help
Shed some light. Carmen, your mom is rusty on filming.